Hi, this is Hugh for guitar.com, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to get a stuck screw out of a piece of wood. If you do any type of guitar work, this is something that can happen to you at any time. Maybe you're putting in some tuners, a strap button, a bridge, everything's going fine, and then suddenly a screw snaps and the threaded section is left embedded in the wood and the head's gone, and it seems like there's no way to get the thing out. But rather than trash that neck or trash that body, there is actually quite an easy way of getting that stuck screw out of the wood. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to do it. Well, the problem with this headstock is pretty clear to see. So we've got a snapped screw here, and I think a little attempt to try and get it out has chipped the wood. We've got another snapped screw in this hole, and one in this hole as well, which is slightly protruding from the top. So the challenge here is to get these screws out with minimal damage to the actual headstock. This is the brass tube that I bought from my local hardware store, and the external diameter is 4 millimeters, and the internal, you can see that, is 3 millimeters. Now I know these screws are about 2.5 mil at their widest point, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chop 40 mil length off the end of this, and I'm going to turn this into a screw extraction tool. Actually, I think I'm going to make this a little bit longer than 40 mil. I'm going to take this up to 50 mil. So it's securely mounted into the chuck of the drill. Okay, little mark on there, that's just to guide the saw. Just using a little needle file to clean up the end of this. Compared to filing frets, this is super easy. I'm just getting off the rough burr because it's, although the metal's soft, it's still sharp enough to cut you. Okay, now's the time to cut the teeth into the end, and for that I'm going to be using a triangular file. Okay, so this is my triangular file, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the first cut, try and get it straight across the center. So I spin it around slightly. Going to try and cut another 2 little notches in there. Flat area each side now, so if I can aim right down the middle of that. Going to tidy up the outsides. Just sharpening up these points a little bit. Okay, that's not too bad. Just file the outside a little bit. Just take the sharp burr off. So I'm now going to drill the guide in this piece of acrylic perspex, and just to show you, I'm using a 4mm drill bit, and it's pretty much the same size as the outside diameter of the tube, so fingers crossed. The wood on the base is just to stop the perspex chipping out at the back. Should fit through. Okay, that's a really nice snug fit. Yeah, that should be absolutely fine. Okay, here goes. Drill is set into reverse. I got my marker on there as a depth stop. It's positioned perfectly above the screw. Okay, it's definitely getting in there. I think I can move the guide now. And it's out. Hope that's focusing. Okay. Reasonably neat hole. And I'll just try and get that screw out of there now. So I've used the much thinner drill bit to just force out the debris in the screw from the inside of the tube. And if I measure this with calipers, I'm getting about over 2.4 mil at its thickest part. So looking at the one screw hole here, yeah, so about 0.5 mil wider than the pilot holes. It should have been okay, but sometimes you just get unlucky. Right, let's get the other two out. Okay, that's come out quite cleanly. I think one of the disadvantages of brass is that it is so soft. It was the only stuff I could get at short notice. Steel would be an awful lot better. I find myself sharpening the tool between each hole, which is fine. It's a quick and easy process, but also the teeth kind of flare out a little bit, which means that after it's gone over the screw, it just widens and it's a little bit tricky to get the tool out. But anyway, it's doing its job. At last it's time to fill these holes, so I'm just going to use a little bit of Titebond glue. Just get it in with a matchstick. Here's a piece of dowel that I've sanded in a drill, so it's just about the right size. I'm going to press that in. Yeah, it's quite a tight fit. Okay, so what I've got to do now is try and get the size of this dowel correct for the other two holes, which is slightly smaller. I didn't actually have a dowel in stock that was the right kind of diameter, so I've taken some 6mm dowel down to 5mm for this hole, and now I've got to take another half a millimeter off this one because it's currently 5mm, and I'm going to take this down to 4.5. So the way I do that is to use this, just use my drill. I've put the dowel into the chuck. It's got some reasonably coarse paper on here, and just sand it to reduce the diameter. Just got to check it periodically. Okay, that's taken off another 1/4 mil. Almost there. Okay, it's the perfect size for this one, and that one will be slightly smaller. So I just got to cut a little bit off the end here. Just going to put the dowel in the hole. Mark it around it with a pencil. Okay, so that's the depth of the hole. So I need to cut it, but just to leave a little bit proud. So again, I can use the drill. I got this nice little saw here. And there we go. Excellent. Cool, I hope I can get this out. There we are. Right, let's glue this one in. Just going to score around this with a knife before I go trying to cut it with a saw again. Okay, that should give the a guide for the blade. There you go, simple as that. Okay, let's get the last one in. This glue is firmly set now and the dowels are fixed in there, so I've got to cut them flush to the wood. For this I'm using a flush cut saw, but if you haven't got one of these, you can just use a very sharp chisel and basically cut these away very, very carefully. So the object is to try and get this cut flush without damaging the wood or the finish in any way. So I'm going to start with this one. This is a Japanese saw, so it actually cuts on the pull stroke. There we go. Absolutely fine. Let's do the next one. maybe I should come in from the other side. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, these three look pretty good. That one's just about perfect. This one is almost perfect, and this one needs a little bit of tidying up with a chisel. But this project is done as far as I'm concerned. The owner wants to refit the tuners himself, which means he'll have to drill some new pilot holes. But apart from that, this neck is hopefully salvaged and will go on to have a long and useful life. So as you can see, that was quite simple, and it's a bit of a lifesaver. I did learn a few lessons along the way. Firstly, don't use brass unless you have to. But if you do use brass, and it does work, just resign yourself to the fact that you might have to sharpen the teeth between every screw extraction. And also, don't file the teeth quite as deep as I did on my first attempt, because, as I said, they flare out and it makes it very difficult to remove the screw extraction tool from the wood itself. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.